Hello, welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton. With me this evening is Sergio Barrera.
Paul, how's it going?
I am well. How are you, Sergio?
Doing good now that I can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, uh, lesson, kids. Just check your stuff's plugged in.
Oh my gosh.
It's look. Everybody is susceptible to it, and it's
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to say I have to check to see if I'm actually plugged in. Speaking of being plugged in, I plugged my butt into a chair to watch 4+ hours of Kill Bill
Oh my gosh,
bloody
yeah.
affairness, and that's what you're here to talk about.
Yeah. I reached out to you last week and I was like, I wonder if there's a conversation to be had. And I'm actually glad we talked because we're always going to find a conversation with stuff, right? But yeah, it was
We
long.
talked about Velocipaster. We can talk about anything.
Good point.
Okay, so that's what we're here to talk about. Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair.
Yeah.
So 2003. I feel like, so Quentin is obviously like, two things. One, he's he's the director that everybody wants to see movies from. And
Right.
two, completely vanished from the scene. Like everybody is just starving for the next Quentin Tarantino movie.
Right.
And the word gets around that his next movie is going to be, it's called Kill Bill, and then all of a sudden the word is actually the it's not going to be one movie, it's two, because he ended up making and apparently it could have easily been 5 hours, and it was just like, it's going to be two.
Right.
And were you following movie? Like, how close were you in paying attention to stuff and at that point?
You mean in 03?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was knee deep. I've been knee deep in movies for many years until the last couple of years. But I remember back then being very much a Quentin Tarantino fan, very much a big movie fan, and I remember, being kind of geeked at the notion that it was going to be two movies,
right?
Because his films are so rare,
Yeah, and so in 94 we got Pulp Fiction. In 97 we get Jackie Brown.
Right.
Do you have a relationship with Jackie Brown at all?
I do. I think I'm going to enjoy it more on revisit this many years later.
Okay.
Because I remember thinking it was such a departure from both Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction that I actually felt like, okay. All right, well, hey, it's a Tarantino picture. The pacing was so different.
Yeah.
But I think I'll appreciate it more on the second turn. I'm doing this run through franchises sort of for the last time.
Okay, cool.
And that's definitely on my list. What was your thought? I would think you loved it.
You would think wrong.
Okay.
I was ridiculous. So, I was one of the few people that had seen Reservoir Dogs before Pulp Fiction came out.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in a movie theater with my friend Blair. I think it was our friend Pat who was like, "Oh, there's this movie everybody needs to see. It's called Reservoir Dogs." We ended up watching it, and it blew my mind. Yeah. And we knew that this Pulp Fiction was coming out, and Pulp Fiction won the Palme d'Or, obviously, and it was just like, holy shit, okay.
Right.
And it, just completely melted my mind. Just completely changed, the way that a 20 or a teenage to 20-something-year-old male engaged film. And then 3 years later Jackie Brown came out, and the characters were interesting and the dialogue was snappy, but just the story, it felt like it was a 90-minute movie. They just stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched, and it didn't work for me then. I've watched it on cable many times. It's never worked for me, and that's fine. But I got, I understood, there was still greatness in there. and I hadn't like sold in my cashed in my Quentin stock.
Right.
But 6 years from Jackie Brown to Kill Bill is a long,
Yeah.
long time.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what we had to wait for. And it was just, you know, like I had subscription to Premiere Magazine, so I would always, you know, I would read gossip and all of that, you know, movie gossip, and it was just like, oh my God, when is this thing coming? And then like you, I remember when it was announced there's going to be 2 films. I was like, oh, come on, don't do that to me. I'll sit through anything. But then you realize 4.5 hours, and it well, it wasn't 4.5, but like 4+ hours is probably a little too long for a single movie.
Sure.
But I
Well,
can
and
tell
they were only, was it 3 months or 6 months apart?
it was October and I think March. So
Yeah,
like
so it was like 6 months.
5 or 6 months apart.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was great. I was just in love. I was just like, yeah, this is where we need to be. And if I have my timing correct, I had just moved to Fresno, if I remember correctly. I had either just moved to Fresno or was getting ready to move to Fresno. But yeah, from Los Angeles. And so it was just, you know, like a huge change. You know, I'm
Sure.
in the middle of movie everything, and then I'm going to fucking Fresno. But it, you know, so it was just really good. I was in Fresno, so it was really good to just be like, all right, just bathe me in the blood. And there was so much blood to be bathed in.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when these movies came out,
Yeah.
like I said, like you, I was just like, okay, it's about time, and I'm okay with the fact that they're going to be split. And then, you know, we'll talk about it, but it was one of those things where I felt like Tarantino has this way of making films that make you go, well, okay, this is his opus, and then he makes something else, and you're like, oh no, it's this one.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's just, and so I never mind the time. And these 2 films, yeah, I mean, could easily, he could easily have just said, okay, I'm done with what I'm doing, and this was me and my storytelling. But
yeah.
But
he didn't, and he gave us these 2. And he kept going afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, did you have any relationship with the sort of, you know, Hong Kong and Japanese fighting kung fu, Shogun Warrior, those types of things? Did you have any relationship with those prior to Kill Bill coming out?
Some, yeah. I mean, there was, you know, John Woo went through a pretty decent phase where he was really in the sort of mindset of the American movie viewer.
For sure.
Jackie Chan, of course, you know.
Jackie Chan, yeah.
Yeah.
These movies are definitely way more Jackie Chan than John Woo. John Woo
definitely. But I'm saying, you know, the whole notion of, you know, fight teams that are being used for the purpose of filming these elaborate fight scenes and so forth, you know.
But you're the right age to have been around when Kung Fu was on television.
Oh, sure.
You're the right age to where when VCRs first started coming out, all of a sudden there's like a million of these, you know, Shogun Warrior and you know, these other, you know, 70s movies.
Sure.
Had you seen any of those, or
very few? I mean, it just wasn't a genre that was that readily available to me, even, you know, at that time. I mean, Kung Fu, sure. I mean, and one of the reasons I love these films so much is David Carradine, but so, you know, it was more through the medium of television, but not film. Because you know, back then my parents would be very careful about like what would we go see.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and so I discovered movies like Shogun Assassin and such much later. In fact, after, you know, all of this, and so I kind of went into that genre a lot in my older years. So
yeah, and I'm the same way, by the way. Like I definitely remember watching some. Those were the shows that I would like that would pop up like on like PBS or would be you know, at like 6 a.m.
Sure.
And it was just like you could watch the Three Stooges or some of these kung fu things. Like I definitely remember like seeing the Godzilla movies, and there's homages to those as well.
Oh, sure.
And and so to have this movie come out and just be like, we're gonna make reference to that, but we're gonna put in people that today, and we're gonna put it into an aesthetic that feels very now. Just brilliant, like, and I felt that way even more sitting through the 4+ hours, and I could have definitely, like, if he had just done Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, 22 years ago, 23 years ago, I would have been on board.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was interesting going through these movies. I mean, I've done these movies back to back, right?
Right.
Many
sure.
times.
Oh, many times. Many times.
In this particular version, I get what you're saying. There's this opportunity to appreciate it as a whole, and it makes those differences in terms of style and genre pop out even more.
Right.
And it was for me, I mean, gosh, I hate to say 22 years, it garners nostalgia of his work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the thing that I think I came out with the most, was like this really sense of this strong sense of affirming my fandom of Tarantino films and his ability to craft a story
100%.
across multi genres, which is he's one of a few. If I'd have to put my head to it to try to figure out who else does this kind of, who else has this ability to cross genres and mix genres in a film, and have it work.
Yeah. Interesting thing about Kill Bill. So this came out in a period when I'm getting movies from Netflix and just ripping them onto a DVD and sending them back immediately after. I'm still buying stuff, like things that I really, really want. I'm still buying. Kill Bill was one of the rare new movies that I loved, that I ripped, because I was like, I am waiting until they do a really, really good single, because even after the movies came out, the rumor always was he's gonna eventually put them together, add a little bit, and then, so I was always just like, I'm waiting for that. And even when it came out like as a DVD, I was just like, no, I want to. I feel like there's something bigger. I feel like there's something more. And I don't know that this was exactly what I was waiting for, but clearly this is what I was waiting for. So
yeah, I mean, he spoke about it over the years of how this was ultimately his goal.
Right.
And, of course, I can see that. But yeah, I don't know where to place this thought. So if it's too soon, forgive me, but I was kind of hoping that this was going to be some sort of like precursor to a new story.
Oh, interesting.
That got built into the first film, the potential for it.
Yeah.
Except I know too much of the history of, Uma Thurman's experience on this film or these films. But I mean, hey, it happened, and we're here, and we get to say we saw it. So
yeah. That would have been interesting if it was released and then it was followed up with an announcement. Yeah, we're doing
like a teaser trailer, and that's what I was.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's quickly cover. Less was added than I was expecting.
Oh yeah.
And there was one thing taken out that I didn't realize I would miss until after it wasn't there, and then I realized I missed it.
Okay.
All right. So the key part that was added was the anime sequence that gives the backstory of Oren Ishii.
Oren, yeah.
It was expanded. And honestly, like, just do a fucking movie. Like, there's clearly a movie there.
Sure.
you know, and I would eat the hell out of that movie.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing that was taken out was a very short, like, so if you went and saw Kill Bill Volume 2 in theaters,
Mm-hmm.
it opened with an interstitial that was, you know, Uma Thurman, the bride. At this point,
Mm-hmm.
we still don't know her name yet. She's just the bride. In black and white, driving a convertible, kind of like getting, you know, giving a very brief and not so good synopsis, but very genre, and you know, and really you know, interesting. And I kind of missed it. I was
Yeah.
hoping that I was expecting to come back from intermission and just being like, okay, here, let's do the interstitial. And there was no interstitial.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, because if I remember correctly, that scene you're talking about was actually used as a trailer for the film, and
Okay,
it pops in the original, form,
for Kill
and
Bill
it
2.
yeah, exactly,
Okay,
and and so not having it there, I'll be honest, I didn't miss it. I
okay,
didn't even think about it, to be honest. You bringing
oh,
it up right now, I was like, oh, that's right. We
okay,
never saw that in the the new
yeah,
the I don't want to call it the new version, but the
sure,
combined version.
sure.
I thought you were going to talk about the line that was purposely removed.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
Well, remember at the end of the first volume, he tells Sophie about the kid.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
he purposely removed it so that we would find out when Beatrix finds out.
Okay. Oh, I totally forgot about that.
I feel like I
Interesting. So
finally got one.
you forgot about
That's
something,
right.
and I forgot about. I forgot
This is the
about
perfect.
that.
This is I worked hard for this.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you got a
Yeah.
good point. Good call. Good call. Yeah. Interesting. No, that was I remember now, and that was an excellent cliffhanger
Exactly.
for end of one.
Yeah.
So he took out the excellent cliffhanger of the first movie and took out the excellent intro for the second movie
Yeah.
and just let it flow.
Just let it keep running. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. All right. So I
So
saw this. Go ahead.
I have to ask you. So did you appreciate the extended Oren Ishii backstory version?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was
Okay.
good.
All
I
right.
did.
Yeah,
I
I thought
liked
it was
it.
good.
Like I said, if they had just said, you know what, we probably have about 80 minutes of this, and we're going to go ahead and release it as a movie, I would have been
Sure.
like, yeah, cool, let's do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. I will go pay for an 80-minute Oren Ishii anime movie, 100%. You know.
Yeah. I was happy that it filled in gaps that I had never thought about. I never
Right.
worried about.
Right.
But then it was like, okay, yeah. I mean, this is
Cool.
the ultimate in the vengeance films,
Yeah.
revenge films, and to see that extended version cover ground that you're going, oh yeah, I didn't think about this character, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah. And I went and saw this with my son, who had not ever seen Kill Bill before.
I meant to ask you, like,
Yeah,
was that the case?
and that was really cool, and I really appreciated that, and I was
That's
thrilled
awesome.
that he decided that he wanted to go in, and he did. He liked it a lot. He really did. And his one at the end of the movie. So obviously during the intermission, like, he had a huge smile on his face, and he's like, "That's
Hmm.
really good." I was like, "I
Nice.
know. Now you know why I'm telling you. You need to fucking watch Pulp Fiction with me." But
He still hasn't seen Pulp Fiction.
no, don't get me
Wow.
started. I cannot get him to. He knows that he loves Paul Thomas Anderson. He won't watch
Sure.
Paul Thomas Anderson's backlog with me. He knows that he likes Quentin Tarantino. I can't get him to watch Quentin Tarantino. It's a thing.
This could
It's
be
a
the beginning
thing.
of something.
It's a thing. But like, you know, I mean, he was clearly really digging on the movie.
Nice.
And at the end, he said something, and I will agree with this, is that he's like, yeah, I definitely like the first half better than the second half. And I'm gonna say, like, that was absolutely my take originally.
Sure.
And I think part of that is just the perfection of the Crazy 88 scene.
Sure.
And there's just nothing in the second half that even remotely compares.
No, because the first movie was, the first half, the first movie was that's the whole genre of it, was the whole fight team action sequences.
Right.
You had to get those kills in.
Right.
The second movie, second half, that's where all of your exposition came in.
There's so much exposition. There's you get the backstory of what happened in El Paso, but that kind of feels, it's backstory. It's like,
right, exactly. That's what most of the second film is.
That's not a death that's happening. Like,
right.
The bride doesn't kill. Oh, she killed one person in the second movie.
Right.
Killed Bill. She killed.
Yeah.
That we see that it's like,
Yeah.
And I think that's on purpose, because the movie's called Kill Bill,
right.
And we just saw her kill a whole bunch of people,
right.
But I also think that it's such a departure from what's going on in the first movie, but also, like, what takes place, he's clearly dipping into multiple different genres,
right.
And the sort of like more westerny showdown feel with Bud and then Ellie Driver coming in. It's a totally different tone, and it's like, how do you when you have what happens, in Japan, in Tokyo, in that first movie, it's like I don't care what happens in the second one. The second one's going to have to do something really special to keep up with that, and it just doesn't quite.
Yeah, I think the reason I appreciated the second film and wasn't too disappointed by what we're describing is because, me, I love exposition, I love dialogue, I love everything about that entire sequence. That final act, is so dialogue driven.
Her training,
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. So I loved it, but therein lies my challenge with this version. Is there's not a lot that happens that make you go, this was just both films put together. Like, there wasn't anything that was overly spectacular that made me go, oh, but I was glad to see it. It was very, like I said, nostalgic, and I loved it. But I don't know what I was expecting to come out with, other than, I wasn't expecting it to just be the feeling like, this was just the two films meshed together.
I wonder what happens if, and Quentin presents these in chapters, and they're completely out of order. And so the order, I'm sure, he's given a lot of thought to it, but what happens if you just take the O-Ren part, move it to the first move all the O-Ren stuff to the first, basically to be the first act of the second film, and take what's the first act of the second film and make it the third act of the first film, and maybe rearrange it a little bit so it's you get the training first, so you go from her fight with Vivica A. Fox, and then you get her training, and then you get her the wedding and the massacre at the wedding, and maybe move a few of the smaller stuff up in there too, and then end with the massacre and kind of set up, this is why we're going on the revenge, and maybe even keep the anime in there and put it in between the training, although the anime works so good as a precursor to like, how does everything change if O-Ren scene happens at the start of the second movie?
I mean, it would definitely work that way. Obviously, I think the stuff that he included in the second movie, which is the second half of this experience, was to keep certain items fresh on your mind.
For sure, yeah. That's
Elle's, the way she ends up, you just had that in the in the discussion of the Pai Mei sequence and so forth,
right?
And Bill saying to her, don't give him any sass.
Yeah.
No,
that's true.
So, but again, there were a bunch of creative ways that this could have been rearranged. I mean, I like how you're thinking, that there would have been ways to kind of freshen it up a bit.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help but feeling like, number one, unless I'm completely mistaken, all changes happened in the first half.
It's possible. Yeah.
I can't think of anything in the second half that wasn't just the original film.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm not walking away disappointed. I loved that, in intending to see these two movies again somewhere in the near future as I go through these, franchises for the last time, so to speak. I'm glad I did it this way, because it's what he wanted, right?
Yeah.
The fan in me is like, awesome. This is a good way to 100%.
Okay, so Quentin has John Travolta in Pulp Fiction and revivifies his career. How did Daryl Hannah coming in and playing Ellie Driver not just completely bring her back and make her a thing again? This is the thing I will never understand. She is so fucking badass in this movie.
Sure.
Maybe they needed to give her like a chance to do her own fight scene, like do like a Ellie Driver backstory thing, but not in anime form. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know that I've had the same thought, but when I think of who was in this film, I don't know that any of these people that was the intent, the way he might have had that heart for Travolta back when he did Pulp Fiction, because I think this was more of an homage film to so many things. I mean, just Sonny Chiba's appearance in the first film.
True. 100%.
David Carradine didn't need a boost. He'd done what he'd done. He was a happy guy, but so I feel like so many of these people we got in, and that was the other thing that was really kind of sad about watching this, was knowing that we'd lost some of these people.
Yeah, for sure.
And so Michael Madsen's worked with him so many times.
Yeah.
So I just think that he picked the people he felt was right. I come completely with you on Daryl Hannah. She was such a badass in this movie.
In retrospect, like, Daryl Hannah should have been given like 4 or 5 roles the way that John Travolta was handed 4 or 5 roles.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right.
But then look what he did with it. He made Battlefield Earth. So
he also made Get Shorty, which is an all-time.
Yeah. He's got some hits and misses.
Are we doing taco ratings on this guy?
Sure.
Okay. Here at Real to Real Talk, instead of doing stars, we do tacos. And if we feel like something needs a little bit of extra boost, instead of doing like a half a taco like you would do with a half a star, we add guac. Why? Because nobody eats a half a fucking taco. All right, Sergio, where are you landing on this?
So, I loved both movies.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
For sure.
Because of, I'm just judging it as this version of it. Okay? This version of it, for me, didn't do enough to make me be overly fascinated. And so the question I asked myself when coming up with a score was, would I sit through this version, or would I be okay just watching the two films the way they're designed?
Yeah.
And so for that reason, because I'd be happy either way, I don't feel like it did enough to really boost it into like 4 or 5.
Okay.
This was a strong 3 with guac.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I would score each individual movie higher in its original form.
Interesting.
Because I don't know that it added anything to that was overly spectacular for me.
I thought you were going to do 4 plus guac. All right. I agree with you 100%. 1 is a 4 taco movie. 2 is a 4 taco movie. But like, I would rather eat the 1's 4 tacos than the 2 4 tacos. Guess what? This one's also a 4 taco movie.
Fair.
The thing that I would have done to give it 4 plus guac is if they had done something with the intermission.
Okay.
Like, and this sounds silly and stupid, and it is silly and stupid, but like the movie opens with the classic homage to 1970s. Now our feature presentation thing.
Oh, sure.
Like, just It's so easy to make a callback to the
Bring us back,
70s,
yeah.
you know, during the intermission, but no,
Yeah.
it's so good. You know, and bravo, we got to see it. So I guess you're not going to hang around for my Farkham Hall.
Yeah, normally I would, Paul, but I'm gonna have to bow out now. But thank
I
you so much
understand.
for taking time to talk about this
Thanks
movie.
for coming. We'll see you in 2 weeks for
Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right.
All
Yep.
right, Paul. Thanks so much.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, stick around, everybody, because I'm going to do Farkham Hall. That's right. Farkham Hall is a satire spoof of of Downton Abbey / Gosford Park. I mean, the third act is basically just a lift of Gosford Park, and it think Mel Brooks at his absolute best. Think Naked Gun, Airplane. It's a spoof. This is 100% a spoof. And my God, this movie is funny. And if you like spoofs and comedies, please go see Farkham Hall. If you think that more comedies need to be made and put into theaters, please go see Farkham Hall. The thing I will always say about spoofs and satire is spoofs and satire only work or primarily work when you are approaching this satire, the send up, from a place of love. You have to have some appreciation for what you are spoofing and sending up. You cannot be like, this is so dumb, I am going to make fun of it in a movie. That leads to just mean-spiritedness, and your distaste for the source becomes palpable, and it's just not as successful, and it's just not as enjoyable as if you genuinely loved Gosford Park and you want to show, another murder mystery of the aristocracy and just complete and total idiots trying to solve the crime and complete and total idiots being accused of the crime. And I turned to Linus, my son, at one point while watching this movie and just laughing and saying, this movie is so fucking dumb. And it is the best kind of dumb. It is literally the most intelligently stupid movie I have seen in quite some time. Goddamn, Farkham Hall. Bravo. Bravo, Farkham Hall. You 100% knew exactly what you were doing, and I salute you with 4 tacos. Just absolutely brilliant. If you've ever seen Gosford Park and you've ever laughed at any of the movies I mentioned previously, whether it be Airplane, Naked Gun, Austin Powers, anything that's a spoof, and this is 100% a movie you have to see. Downton Abbey also. I don't have any relationship to Downton Abbey, so I can't speak to how much the characters feel like characters from Downton Abbey, but literally one of the plot lines is taken, two of the plot lines are taken directly straight from Gosford Park, and it's just hilarious. I mean, I'm going to do a hashtag spoiler alert on this. Okay. But you're not going to Farkham Hall for the plot, so it's no big deal. But obviously, it's a British aristocracy movie. And so, and it's a period piece. So women aren't allowed to inherit land or property or anything. And so, one of the eldest daughter is going to save the family and save Farkham Hall by marrying her cousin that is in line to inherit Farkham Hall. She decides, no, I'm running off and I'm marrying somebody else. I'm not going to spoil that. And so now it's on the youngest daughter to marry this terrible cousin that's going to inherit Farkham Hall. But she's also in love, not surprisingly. And the twist on the movie is that it turns out he is her cousin, and so like everybody's excited that she gets to marry her cousin, and it's just fucking bonkers. It's just absolutely insane, and so I highly recommend that everybody go see Farkham Hall. All right, this is real talk. I'm going to be back next week. I'm not seeing any new movies in theaters. I have currently and will have a trove of streaming movies that I'm going to be reviewing. So it's going to be Streamer Palooza next week, including the new Knives Out movie that's being released on Netflix on Friday. I'm going to lead with that one. That'll be the first one that I'll come out hitting hard. And that's going to be the one. So thanks for everybody for stopping by. Since Sergio was here, I'm going to go ahead and say it. You're awesome. You're amazing. And the world's a better place because you are in it. And I hope you'll come back next week. And I hope in the meantime, you'll watch some movies.